A very good evening and welcome to a brand new edition of Face to Face, coming to you direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo, same time as usual. Tonight we have a very important guest to converse with, and I'm sure you will find him very intriguing because not only does he hold a deputy ministerial portfolio in the sphere or the industry or the particular area that he is also an academic and an expert in. This particular area, or rather tourism, is widely regarded as a cornerstone of Sri Lanka's economy and also culture. For many years, tourism has been able to sustain Sri Lanka's economy, especially by way of generating vital foreign currency, foreign reserves, and helping Sri Lanka's economy grow by providing much needed dollars and also by providing greater employment opportunities to those who are involved in the tourism sector. So in that vein, as Sri Lanka is witnessing a tourism boom, as you know, we crossed over 100,000 tourists in the month of January so far alone. In that vein, we have decided to invite the Deputy Minister of Tourism to our studios tonight. He is Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe. A very good evening to you, Professor, and welcome to Face to Face.
Good evening, Chairman.
I believe this is your first time on Face to Face, so I think we should extend a warmer welcome to you. To kickstart the program, Professor, I want to just first ask you, we talk about tourism and how vital tourism is to Sri Lanka, but over the years, if you take the last decade or so, 2015 or 2016 to 2025, Sri Lanka has been undergoing a lot of hardship. We had the Easter attacks. As soon as tourism was starting to boom and surge, we had the Easter attacks, then we had COVID, then we had the economic crisis. There was a lot of uncertainty, there was a lot of ambiguity, and one might say that tourism in Sri Lanka did not, or has not to this moment, lived up to its potential and has a lot more to offer to the global traveler. What do you have to say to that particular statement?
I would say you are absolutely right. You know, Sri Lanka is a beautiful island where we have, so much potential for tourism, and also we have a lot of possibility, as you said, to earn much needed foreign exchange, particularly at this moment even. So our tourism industry, I would say that we have not reached up to its potential status. As you said, tourism is one of those very sensitive industries. You know, let it be the oil price, let it be terrorist attack or whatsoever.
Sensitive to external shocks.
Very, very sensitive. So this is why our industry has been facing a lot of ups and downs right throughout. Yeah, in fact, we started the industry like commercially 1960s, late 60s, and 2018 was our top year in terms of numbers, the performance. So last year, that is 2024, we have crossed again 2 million tourist arrivals, and also 3.1 billion plus foreign exchange earnings, dollars. So in terms of product development, marketing, number of arrivals, all such aspects, if you take, we have not lived up to the potential that we can do for tourism in the country.
Right. So, Professor, with that elaboration, what are, if I may structure this question in this particular manner, you have been assigned the duty of being the Deputy Minister of Tourism, although you are a first-time entrant to Parliament. You came in through the NPP's national list, and you have been tasked with overlooking the tourism sector as its Deputy Minister, which is, I would say, a huge responsibility. And like I said in my opening statement, you are somewhat of an academic in the field of tourism, and you have a lot of knowledge in the field of tourism over your academic career. So for the benefit of our viewer, can you just give us a brief explanation on your academic career, how you came to be an expert in tourism, a political analyst and so on?
Well, I studied actually tourism and hospitality management in the university, Rajaratu University, and passed out 2004.
Right.
And then I worked for 5 years in the private sector for tourism industry in several countries. And after I chose as an academic, I joined actually Wovelas University as a junior lecturer there. And then I left for my PhD and was exposed to several other countries and travel around. And with that, actually, I was very closely working with the UWA Provincial Ministry of Tourism as well. I mean, not only an academic, so therefore I was picked as the first chairman for the UWA Tourism Board, Provincial Tourism Board. Okay. So I was also working with very closely since I had my relationships with the private sector also.
Right.
So during my PhD, I got some international network established, and through some of our research work that we are doing. So we very recently concluded a project called CES Tour, which is funded by European Union.
Okay.
And this was for Centers of Excellence for Sustainable Tourism. We had 5 European countries involved in. We have traveled all those countries, and then 3 Asian countries. And therefore, I think, even though I was an academic, but I was also a practitioner. Yeah. So therefore, it was quite easy for me to take this responsibility, as you mentioned. But of course, I know it's challenging, and I mean, this industry, as I said earlier, not up to the standards that we are expecting, and also there are I mean, number of issues that have been evolved over the years. Now we need to little by little clear them and set a clear direction for a sustainable and an inclusive tourism industry of this country. So that's a huge responsibility, but I'm sure we can make it.
Understood. So Professor, with all that experience as an academic, as a practitioner, with your experience in the field, I'm sure you would know that a popular trend when it comes to promoting a country's tourism is branding, nation branding to be precise. And many countries who have experienced a boom in tourism and are flamboyantly promoting tourism, who have large numbers of tourists coming in on a day-to-day basis, have branded their offerings to an extent where the tourist knows what they will receive when they land in that particular country. And I mean, if we take countries like Thailand, if we take countries like Malaysia, they have amazing taglines that will instantly attract the tourist towards that particular country. But Sri Lanka, I believe, has had somewhat of an identity crisis, in my opinion, because every now and then Sri Lanka releases a strategy of branding the country with different taglines. We had So Sri Lanka, we had You Will Come Back for More, we had so many other taglines in Sri Lanka when it comes to tourism, and that I believe might have caused some sort of confusion as to not just the tagline but the overall product offering as a whole, might have confused the potential tourist from selecting Sri Lanka as their next travel destination. So what sort of a strategy do you intend to formulate, or what sort of a strategy have you already formulated for Sri Lanka tourism in terms of nation branding, in terms of the products we have to offer, and how we can get aspiring tourists into Sri Lanka over other destinations?
Yeah, a bit of a broad question. One thing is product development, the other thing is marketing, branding and marketing. So if I talk about product development, like now we have UNESCO classified destinations like Sigiriya, Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Dambulla and Singaraja Rainforest and places like that. Now I think these have been serving as tourism products over the years, but recently, last couple of decades, we have not developed actually a good tourism product. So the very recent one that we have done is this Pico Trail, which is of 300 plus. Yes, I mean it's a trail, the 300 plus kilometers. There the visitor can experience. So that's, I would say, a very good start. And this is the type of tourism actually now the world is heading to, because it is almost like, you know, now a visitor come and, you know, play in the beach and parties, and this kind of tourism is decreasing.
It's saturated.
Yeah. So now the visitors, they need to come to the countryside, live with local people, experience their food, events, culture. I mean, it's all about experiences. So I think in that sense, Pico Trail is one of those class tourism products that we have crafted. And also as a whole, as you mentioned, whole tourism product, Sri Lanka as a destination, as I mentioned, I mean, we have a lot to do, including airport, then the local transport, and our key destinations. Like you saw the situation with Sigiri, Yala last couple of weeks, where we had some good numbers arrived, 11,000 plus daily. So at that time, so all these show that there is a lot to do with product development. I mean, training, human resource, our tour guide, lecturers, and all such areas we need to look into. Yeah, so we are in the process of making it. And the second part of the question is the marketing and the branding. So we need to take actually any way. I mean, generally Sri Lanka is a good tourist destination. I'm sure you are updated with some of those international agencies. You know, they are listing Sri Lanka in different areas. That Sri Lanka is an attractive
receiving international accreditations.
Accreditation. Yeah. So I also believe that we need to work a lot on digital marketing campaigns as well, because today many visitors, you know, they are on mobile phones, online, and we need to create this digital contents a lot. But coming back to the branding question, now over the years Sri Lanka has been branded in different themes. Like for example, we started as a tropical island was the branding tagline, and later it was 1980s and beyond, land like no other. Later, you know, Miracle of Asia, Small Miracle, so Sri Lanka, and the last one, I don't think even anyone knows this one, that is You Will Come Back for More. Yeah. So when we analyze these have been just projects, for those ministers or for those people around them.
Just piecemeal efforts.
Yeah. So that, you know, they run some projects. And I mean, the latest one that has been is this 5 market project that they have been doing. Selected our top 5 source markets and do campaigns. I think that all type tourism marketing, destination marketing is all gone now. Now it is place branding.
Right.
Yeah. So we can learn from, in this sense, from Maldives actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Now Maldives is very well known all over the world, but just for beaches and, you know, and that's all activities, diving and things. But Sri Lanka is a very diverse, compact. Almost everything is here. We have, as I said, rainforest. Yeah, we have elephants, whales, I mean, events like candy procession, we have a heritage, and all such things are available. But only thing, whether we have taken these to the world, that is where this branding is. So we need to, I think this branding in isolation for tourism only is all tradition, as you said. So we need to go for a national branding where whatever the things that we do, for example, cricket. Yeah, we are well known for gems, and we also are a very good producer of tea, and making all these things together.
Bring in a cohesive strategy.
Composite branding campaign we have planned, and we are going to launch it in February.
Will the tagline change again though?
Well, I mean, this tagline marketing is all, I mean, we can see whether it is successful or not, like unsuccessful, because other private operators, particularly business operators, whether they use it. I don't think any of those operators using this existing tagline. So I think rather tagline, we as a place, as a destination, Sri Lanka, using all such other offerings, we need to brand as a nation. So nation branding campaign we are looking at, and we are going to launch this actually in February.
Understood. So we have a lot to dissect, and you said yourself in your explanation that there are emerging trends that the world has to adapt to, especially when it comes to tourism. If you are planning to position yourself as a tourist hotspot or a tourist destination, you need to keep up with those trends. And some of those trends that I have been doing my research on, I've come across is ecotourism, experiential travel, wellness tourism, sports tourism, astro-tourism, like a lot of people have been calling for Sigiriya to be opened up for. And those kinds of new trends, which are niches, I believe, apart from the major tourism destination that Sri Lanka is, need to be addressed, because some of these niches are where the heavy spenders or the high spenders are. So what sort of a plan or strategy has Sri Lanka adopted to keep up with these emerging trends and to cater to those particular avenues and give a 100% all-round experience to a particular traveler or a tourist?
Yeah, as you mentioned, actually those are different market segments in the industry. For example, normally, as I said, it was the leisure and some culture
related
reason
activities,
for
yes.
we used to do tourism.
Yes.
But now, as you said, these new trends of environment, yeah, they need to. I mean, many of those metropolitan megalopolis, you know, these people, they isolated in concrete jungles. Now they need to come to an environment where you see some green,
like serenity,
yes, these kind of experiences. And as I said earlier, they need to see well how the food is prepared by local people. Yeah, what kind of food they eat, what are their cultural events and these things. So this experiential tourism, so creating experience, I mean, growing or emerging in tourism. And also areas like digital nomads, like a new market which is emerging in the world. We have seen it's a huge market, and we are looking at even attracting a portion of it, creating some digital parks where those, I mean, with all infrastructure facilities that is required for such tourists. Yeah, so we have identified all such potentials and emerging market segments, as I mentioned. And once again, what is important is reach up to those segments and market ourselves. It is not just, you know, changing the tagline and making a project, or the minister goes to some country and, you know, invite them. No, we need to effectively reach up to those market segments and communicate while creating experience as well. Yeah, so we have actually plans to, for example, very recently we have signed agreements with Koika, Korea, to enhance Sigiriya as a tourist destination, and also Polonnaruwa, yeah, Anuradhapura, UNESCO heritage. And also very recently I met actually World Bank, and they agreed to fund to develop Vaskomua and Madhuroya national parks. As I mean, Yala is full now. I mean it is full of its capacity, even beyond. So we need to take some control over the numbers there. So alternatively, we are like taking steps to develop other destinations as well for to I mean serve these nature lovers and nature wildlife tourism activities.
Which brings me to my next question, Professor, because we have seen how Yala is renowned for its animals, for its environment, and a lot of the tourists are only interested in traveling to Yala, but we know we have so many other attractive national parks with equal wildlife in its acreage. But even in recent times we saw, especially during the holidays last year, how Yala was just overwhelmed with tourists, both local and foreign. And that, I believe, caused a strain on the animals in Yala and the fauna, the flora and the fauna, I believe. And that has, well, given rise to a debate to better manage the inflows of tourists, especially to heritage sites, to environmental locations such as Yala wildlife areas, wildlife conservation areas, and so on, to manage those areas better, to have a certain capacity of tourists that are able to travel on a daily basis to those particular areas. What sort of a plan do you have to ensure that the tourism hotspots in Sri Lanka, especially our wildlife reserves and our cultural sites, are preserved and tourism is developed in a sustainable manner?
Well, as I said, in NPP's tourism policy is inclusive and sustainable tourism economy. So sustainability is number one in all our activities and developments, because I mean, we have no right in this generation to finish all these things, and we need to make sure that these resources, wildlife, national parks are available for our next generation.
Yes.
So therefore, sustainability is a must.
Yes.
And coming back to your question again, as I said, now for example, we have Wilpattu National Park here. I mean, a very good place to vive.
Yeah.
It's almost similar to even I would say better and bigger than Yala.
Yeah, Nyala.
So therefore, we need to divert the traffic to those places.
But many foreign tourists aren't aware that Wilpattu even exists sometimes, so which is why they are prompted to go to Yala.
That is where this marketing part
comes in.
Yeah, product development and also infrastructure and all such other things. And also the other two national parks I mentioned, Waskamura and Maduroya, where Maduroya is a place where you can weave 200 plus elephants at a time.
Yes.
I don't think any other place you can do that. So therefore, I think we need to make them popular in the sense market them.
So make them known.
Of course, and also there are basic facilities we need to develop. So we have a plan actually to divert those traffics, as I mentioned earlier. Now at the moment is almost, I mean, it is from the operator's point of view, like many of those operators, they prefer to, because that's the easiest place for them to, I mean, they come
plan
in
a tour.
packages, packages. So it's close by and they are going for it. But I would like to request actually some of our operators to concern the capacity also. I mean, we have very well poised other options, so therefore we can think of those options. I need to make a note on the local visitors also, particularly during the long weekends, school holidays, number of local visitors. So that's fine. I mean, our local people, they need to go around the country and experience it, but we need to be very careful. I mean, these are very sensitive ecosystems, so behave ourselves. I mean, we have seen, particularly when our own citizens, they travel, I mean, through the trash everywhere. It's a bit different. I have seen actually
protected areas.
Foreigners, they clean the environment. In particularly in Al area, I have seen this. So therefore, I request them to very carefully, behave when they visit very, very sensitive ecosystems like Yala, Wilpattu, maybe Singharaja and places, because we need to make sure these things are clear and protected for our future generations.
I believe there is an aspect of the Clean Sri Lanka program that is embedded in that statement as well. So we are in conversation with Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe, Deputy Minister of Tourism. We have much more to discuss with the Deputy Minister, but we will cross over to a short commercial break. Stay tuned to Face to Face.
ගොල්ලන්ට මේ අපිට කියන්න බෑනේ මේ අනේ හාල් ටික හොයලා දෙන්න කියලා.
අහන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි උත්තර දෙන්න ඔබතුමාත් අහපු ප්‍රශ්නෙට. ඌ බලාපොරොත්තු කන්දක් බීලානේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ.
සදාකාලික ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කොරායි කිඹුල්ලු බල ඉන්න පුළුවන්.
ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන අත්ත වශයෙන්ම ශනික යම්කි සහනයක්.
දැනට තියෙන රජයයි ඒ තිබිච්ච රජයනේ අතර අහසට පොළොව වගේ වෙනසක් තියෙනවා.
මොකද අපි දැක්ක මීට පෙරත් ඔය ජවනිකාව අපි දැක්ක ඔය නාට්‍ය අපි දැක්කා.
කලබල වෙන්න එපා රොෂාන්, අපි ඔය වගේ ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න ආචාර්ය උපාධි සහතික නැතුණා කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්ද?
අත එක පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් කරන්න වස්ස ඔබට තීරණය කරන්න පුළුවන්.
අපි හැමෝම එකතු වෙලා මේ රට හදමු.
දවස සතිය දිනවල සවස 6:30ට.
Welcome back to Face. We are in conversation with Deputy Minister of Tourism, Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe. Professor, before we went into the break, we covered a lot of topics: nation branding, how Sri Lanka can be established and positioned as a good tourist hotspot, how we can cater to emerging global trends, how we can deliver sustainable tourism within our own country, and so on. And one recurring mention that you made during all those explanations was the need to develop our capacity, the need to develop accessibility, inclusiveness, and also infrastructure development. We need airports, we need good roads, we need facilities for tourists who are coming in, hotels, restaurants, and so on. So in that vein, with the surge that Sri Lanka is witnessing at present, Are you satisfied with the current offering of capacity or the infrastructure Sri Lanka has in place for the incoming tourists to have an enjoyable stay where they will leave this country with a good impression and would even recommend it to other potential visitors?
Absolutely not. Yeah. To start with our national carrier or the airline, now I often say this, country like Thailand, how they develop tourism is, they strengthen their national carrier, Thai Airways. But Sri Lankan, I don't need to give you examples, details of what has happened to Sri Lankan Airlines. But without a national carrier, how can we go for those numbers? I mean, we know top markets. We need to identify them, and then we need to have some frequent flights. Yeah, I know yesterday I think our minister signed some agreements with Italy government to allow certain, receive some flights. So Sri Lankan Airlines, we have taken steps to actually, it was on offer, it was ready for sale.
Up for sale,
but yeah, NPP government immediately we took office, we have stopped that, and we are going to develop this. Definitely we have to, any country, I think we have to have a national carrier, a very strong one. I mean, our fleet at the moment is not enough. So we in the long run, we are looking at to strengthen it, to get the traffic into the country.
And you're confident that Sri Lanka Airlines can be converted into a profit-making entity?
Yes, we can.
Right.
And secondly, the airport. Once again, what has happened to the expansion project?
Yes.
Yeah, those companies, they left actually.
I believe a Japanese company was undertaking the new terminal.
Yeah, they complained to the president, and they left that they cannot work with those ministers. And now it is no more, and we have started actually. Yeah, JICA, they restarted their projects here in the country, and this expansion is going on. Actually, Katunaika Colombo International Airport is designed for 6 million capacity per annum.
Right.
But yesterday I saw the news, 2024 they have done 8.5 million.
Right.
They are doing nearly 9 million in certain years. Yeah, it's overused. Now the second terminal development is going on, 2027 that will be reopened.
Okay.
So with that, our national carrier and the airport will be ready. Of course, we have other airports like Batticaloa and Jaffna and Mattala, these airports.
What
also,
of Mattala?
Yeah, Mattala.
Are there plans for Mattala to be developed as well?
Because we, at the moment, some airlines, they operate too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're under certain concessions, so that we also get certain tourists down there, because then there is economy coming there.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the local transport, other infrastructure, and all such infrastructure, definitely we are not up to the level that we want, and we need to develop them. But of course, we need to think of the investment, money and all. But we need to develop the infrastructure. Without that, including, for example, if you see why those queues in Sigiriya and Yala, that is because there is no technology being used, systems, online payment systems and all those things. They still use the carbon copy and, used to write.
It's a very defunct system.
Yeah, so we need to invest on those infrastructure, as you said earlier, under this Clean Sri Lanka project and digitalization project. Many things will be sorted out.
Right. So you brought up the investment angle of things, as if you read my mind, because my next question was related to investment opportunities. So can you just elaborate to me and the viewers how you have identified key areas of investment for the tourism sector, and what the government and the Ministry of Tourism is actively doing to attract necessary investments to the country? Because we need foreign investments to come in to increase our capacity if we are to service a larger number of tourists on a daily or annual basis. So what sort of strategies are in place for tourists, rather investors, to come in and invest in Sri Lanka tourism?
Well, there are so many interesting parties, both local and overseas, meeting us daily basis. In fact, we don't have time slots to allow that much investors are coming. The reason, it has been very difficult for them to reach up to, particularly on clear deals on the table, because there were deals under the table. Right. Yeah, now NPP government, I don't think none of our MPs or ministers, no one is asking those deals. So therefore, it is become like very easy for them to reach up to the responsible personnel and get those projects discussed. That's number one. And number two, still we find there are some red tapes.
Right. Bureaucracy.
When you need to get the approvals. Now, in Sri Lanka tourism, I mean, there are so many clearances we need to get in order to start a project. Yeah, let's say it's a hotel. Yeah, so we are going to, like, we are almost, we have established, but we are making it more efficient. And at the moment, there is this IT infrastructure being introduced in Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, so to make it efficient.
Right.
Yeah. And also, now BUI, of course, is already there. If they are coming under BUI projects, they will get all those concessions and advantages. And even going beyond, we are looking at, facilitating, like we have actually a land bank identified, and we have some islands still in Kalpiti and those areas.
Yes, that can be led for FDIs lease, or projects. Yes,
lease for investments, long term. Yeah, and we are still keep on identifying now areas like Nuwara. Yeah, we have Sri Lanka Tourism. We have 4 resorts which we are trying to
resurrect,
lease them out, because government. I don't think Sri Lanka Tourism we need to run hotels, resorts.
Right.
Of course, there are certain staff working there with proper arrangements for them. I mean, we will give that to the private sector, those who can invest and run good businesses for the industry.
Have they been put up for sale or for
not yet? We are making the documents ready now. It will be publicly advertised.
Right, understood. So when it comes to tourism, it is heavily reliant on the human resource as well. And we know that a lot of skilled workers are required for tourism to function smoothly in the country. But with the crisis that ensued in Sri Lanka in 2022 and all of the tragedies that Sri Lanka has been going through since then, led a lot of skilled professionals, including those in the tourism sector, to fly overseas for better pastures, for better opportunities, particularly to countries like the Maldives. But in an industry that is so heavily reliant of skilled workers, if Sri Lanka tourism is to flourish and is to develop, we need to develop our human resource. So what are the initiatives that you plan to implement from the side of the ministry to increase this capacity of our human resource, and also to try and bring back those expatriates with overseas foreign knowledge back to the country to invest their capacity and their ability, experiences as well, into Sri Lanka tourism?
Well, as you said, actually human resource is critical for any industries, not only for tourism.
Yes.
In terms of tourism, yes, skilled workers is critical to deliver a standard service. So in this sense, we have our human resource development arm, actually, Sri Lanka Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Management, where we train the required personnel for this industry. The thing is, at the moment, actually, it is under capacity. We cannot actually train the numbers we need. And also, you mentioned we have the issue of this migration, and people go for, I mean, that's normal. As I said, any industry that is there. So we understand that. But our solution is actually we need to train the numbers. Those who leave for other countries and work,
it's up to them whether they want to come back or not.
That's the thing. I mean, after some time they come back as well. Yes. But we need to train the numbers, and that is also a good opportunity where they go and send us dollars. That's a good thing. So we have taken steps to actually enhance the capacity. First of all, we will do our human resource requirement, what will be next 5 years. That is audit that we are planning to do. I mean, survey. Yeah. Then we have the projection, and maybe we can leave out the numbers that normally annually going for other countries for work. So then we understand the number that we need to train. Yeah. And we have plans. I mean, at the moment we are going to expand our other satellite schools around the island. Now we are looking at some other places in Galle, Nuwara, and even in Colombo we are trying to relocate the ministry where the existing school can have the whole premises, entire premises, and expand the capacity. I would say next couple of years we are planning to almost double the existing training capacities at the moment, which definitely needed, because we have found actually the numbers are not enough for the expansions we are looking at and the numbers we are looking at. And then if we do not actually train, we are going to be in trouble. So we have foreseen this situation and we have a plan.
Have taken preemptive measures. Understood. So while we spoke about all the ambitions, all the targets and the plans that Sri Lanka tourism, or the transformation Sri Lanka tourism is supposed to be undergoing, there is also a dark underbelly to booming tourism, especially in countries like Sri Lanka, Professor, where there are certain reports which emerge of tourists who arrive in the country with tourist visas, but later on engage in business activities that then is a debilitating factor to the local economy, local businesses, unauthorized businesses taking the money that is supposed to be passed down to the local business or local businessmen are taken away to other countries by foreigners running these unauthorized businesses through this informal sector, like a shadow economy. This has been an issue that even the previous government struggled with. How do you plan on tackling this particular matter?
Not only actually tourists, at a time, the tourist minister of this country was a tourist. Someone was on tourist visa, the case is going on now. So there is this issue actually we have identified. Some of those tourists who come, it has been a kind of evolving issue over the years.
I see.
Yeah, certain areas are well known for. Yeah, from tourists from different countries, they operate businesses. They come as tourists on tourist visa and running businesses.
Right.
Now we have the law actually in the country, particularly the immigration law. If they now we very recently we took actions actually to deport some of them. We've started. We have a tourist police, and also in the new tourism policy that we are planning to actually launch, we have a new law enforcement unit.
Right.
Yeah. So with the support of our tourist police as well as the immigration and also our tourism development authority officers, we have taken steps to take legal actions. I mean, it's obvious that anyone who is on tourist visa cannot do business. I mean, are we going to do any business in other countries?
If we go to another country,
I mean, on our holidays? No. So therefore, it is applicable. And also we have discussed actually with some of those foreign missions where we are going to take legal actions. I mean, it's obvious, and they have agreed, if they are doing anything legal, please go ahead. That was the instruction that I got from some of those ambassadors. So we are going to enforce the law. Of course, there are some legal businesses run by foreigners. That's all accepted, and there is no problem. But those who run businesses and overstaying on tourist visa will be captured and implement
that is
the
clear policy. Understood. So while we are running out of time, I must ask you this question, because in order to deliver or in order to sustain a good product offering, we need to have standardization, we need to have quality control, and that applies not only to products but also services like tourism. So in your tourism policy that the NPP government will be implementing, what are the measures taken to ensure there is standardization, there is effective quality control in ensuring that the progress and also the product offering here in Sri Lanka tourism is maintained in the long run, and each and every tourist gets the equal experience and they do not feel disappointed rather by the offering that they receive or how they are treated? What sort of plan do you have for standardization, quality control and monitoring?
Well, if you take our Tourism Act existing one, if anyone to run a tourism related business, they need to be registered with Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority. But unfortunately, nearly 90% of the tourism related businesses of this country are not registered with Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority. So we have 50,000 plus entities where if you check those online platforms, we have that numbers, but only nearly 5,000 is registered. So we are launching a program. I mean, our Colombo office or few offices that we have here alone cannot do this. We are going to, engage with the local agencies like provincial councils, local government bodies, to absorb this whole informal industry to formal setup. And then we can, train them, spend on them, regulate them, implement whatever, even earn some income for the government as taxes. Yeah, so all that. So we have a program designed to absorb that informal sector and then make sure that our standards, expected levels are maintained at those service providers as well.
Understood. So my guest tonight was Deputy Minister of Tourism, Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe. He is an academic, a practitioner in the tourism industry, and now has been tasked with overlooking the Ministry of Tourism as the Deputy Minister of that particular ministry. We wish you all the best, Professor. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and we wish you all the best for the endeavours yet to come, and we hope that the next time you join us on Face to Face, that Sri Lanka tourism will have a better product offering, and we will speak in a better Sri Lanka with tourism at its best.
Thank you very much, Jamal.
And that's the way it was on Face to Face tonight. Thank you very much for stopping by. Do take care and have yourselves a great night.